Good afternoon. You're listening to WCEG Network. We are a worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into our communities. Log into WCEGTalkRadio.com. Watch us live on your smart TV or in your Roku, cable channel, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and now fan base, Blue Sky, and Twitch. You can search for us for WCEG and subscribe on all social media platforms. Thank you for attending for the next hour. I, Jeremy Walker, will be your host of Vets 2.0 with my co-host, the amazing Tiffany Morman. That's right. You can download our free WCEG mobile apps. You can say, Alexa, play WCEG Talk Radio. Listen to WCEG on any of our 12 podcasts and distribution platforms. Last but not least, our disclaimer. The topics and opinions are those, the topics and opinions that they discuss are not those of the show host, and are those of the show host and the guests, not the WCEG Media Enterprise. Thank you for your continued support. So today, Tiffany, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Jeremy. Thank you for asking. Happy Red Friday. Remember
All
everyone
right.
deployed as
Mhm.
combat veterans. We think of that, and I just thank you for being here today. How's Helmets to Boots doing?
We're about to take over the planet. And I'm excited because just did an event last night in Columbus, Georgia, and then went straight from Columbus helping veterans and so forth, and now moving into the rooftop at the Kempton, where we invited out 21 universities that all have military programs that come up and do a networking event. So looking forward again on what's going on. And now we're here today with our illustrious guest, most who are all veterans or supporting the veteran community. So, without further introduction, I want to go ahead and get started. Because again, I'm super excited. I know you are about the topics that we're talking about today. And one of the biggest things that we're looking at is this time of the season is we have a homeless issue. Georgia's the seventh largest state in the United States when it comes to the veteran population, but then we're the fifth largest in homelessness and suicides. And so we have a special guest here that's going to be able to help talk about that, as well as three other guests that are going to talk about another major thing that we have on, which is open enrollment when it comes to our healthcare and so forth. So the misconception is, hey, I'm a vet and I got to be with just TRICARE or Humana or whatever case is. What are your other options? And then, as a lot of us don't know, CareSource is moving here to Atlanta. They're doing a rollout for the veteran population. And what is that? Is it, there's a rumor that they're replacing TRICARE. So we're here to debunk all of that. And without further ado, we'll go ahead and start doing some introductions. And then we'll let each of our guests do a quick elevator pitch and tell us about themselves. Today we have Miss Bridgett ReNay, a Navy veteran. She's doing amazing things uh, in the nonprofit space. She's got a lot to sell. I'm not going to steal her thunder, but she's got a couple of books that she's going to cover for us, and then tell us about the domicile here on Fort McPherson and what they do. We have Mr. Ted Painter, Marine Corps Sergeant Major. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here, Ted. And then his associate, Jason Smith, who's an Air Force veteran. We're fully loaded today. We got the Army, Marine Corps, Navy. We came fully loaded for this event. And then we have Miss Jada. She's covering down for my partner in crime, Lewis Seiler, who's an actual broker that tells all of us about the different benefits for not just Humana and different things like that, but what some of the changes that's coming down from the government. We just don't know what we don't know. So we'll start off with Miss Bridgett, ladies first. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, and then we'll just travel down the line and talk to you guys.
Not a problem. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. This is really exciting for me to be here. I'm actually at my 9 to 5 right now, so this is like my lunch hour, and I'm in my office. Just this is just a wonderful thing, to do on a Friday to start the weekend. So thank you for having me. My name is
Thank you.
Bridgett ReNay. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, but I have been living in Georgia for like about 30 years now. I am a retired disabled war veteran of the United States Navy. I did 24 years total. And, when I first retired, when I was in that retirement like stage, I didn't think that I would just continue to do like serve my community, serve my country. I just thought I would just chill and just relax. But it's interesting. Something happened. I was invited to like an American Legion, and then they just really, I was just so inspired. And I mean, I just do so much now, like for my community. I'm building my business and just helping people. I'm an author of several books. Mostly they're about like motivational and just, just I like changing lives. And that's what I do here because I started off in corporate America, working and making like really good money. But, I had a calling. And when I started going to the VA for like PTSD, and I'm very open about, my PTSD
Mhm.
because I think it is important. Mental health is a very important thing in my life. And so when I went to the VA and I was like doing so well, with my recovery and like my therapist and the psychiatrist and all of them, they were like, you would make a good, CPS. I'm like, a CPS, what is that? They're like, it's a certified peer specialist. And what I do is in mental health, I use my lived experience to help, people to get unstuck. And that's what
Yeah.
like a lot of my books were about. That's what a lot of I do like in community service. So I'm like, wow, why am I in corporate America being miserable when I can be doing, my calling and have the money, corporate America, but this is my calling. And I have never been happier with everything that's going on in my life. All of it combined, I have never been happier. And so this is where I'm at right now. And I'm Claritel Behavior Health. I am peer support. I have like several clients who, I just tell them like my story and it resonates with people. And that's the whole thing behind, being peer support is using your lived, experience to help people to get unstuck. But I also have a business. I have a t-shirt business. And because I'm a t-shirt person, when
Yeah.
I travel, I love to
Well,
travel the
hold on,
world.
hold on, Bridget, hold on, not to cut you off. We're doing a quick introduction and then we're going to dive deep into you guys.
Okay,
And
not a problem.
yeah,
Multifaceted,
yeah, yeah,
multifaceted.
I can
we're
go.
gonna,
I can go.
yeah, because we got like four other people here, and this is gonna be an open conversation, and we're gonna dig deep between all of you guys in reference to your backgrounds, on what is it that you do specifically, like individually outside of what we're talking about here today, and then what led you to getting to this point, and then some of these topics in the last 30 minutes. So, um, Ted, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself, what you currently do, and you know, again, what your current title is right now with CareSource.
Sure. Ted Painter, I'm the Chief Operating Officer of CareSource Military and Veterans. It's a subsidiary of CareSource, a managed care organization that has over 30 years experience in managing complex populations and government programs like Medicaid, Medicare, Marketplace. Also a Sergeant Major in the Marine Corps Reserves. I transitioned to the reserves after 10 years of active duty service. I'm a TRICARE beneficiary and I'm a service-connected disabled veteran as well.
Oh wow. Thank you for your time too, Ted. Jason, Mr. Air Force. Talk to
Mr.
me, Air Power.
Air Power, absolutely. Hello, everyone. I'm Jason Smith, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. I did 9.5 years in the Air Force as an officer, medically discharged in 2005 for being too good looking.
Hey,
Since then, moved into the corporate world and developed skills in enterprise sales and real proficiency for building and developing customer service teams. And in that role, I'm happy to have found CareSource Military and Veterans who reached out to me to help them to build a community outreach team to help with this important rollout that's happening here for open enrollment to educate and train military families all throughout the area about the important choices they'll have to meet coming up in the open enrollment season. And I'm happy to be here to talk about that today.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Jedi. Jada.
Hello, guys. First of all, thank each and every one of you for your services. I hail from the state of Alabama, a small town called East Laboga. You might have passed it on your way to Birmingham or on your way to Atlanta, but it's very small. I am the CEO and owner of Help One Agency. Thank you, guys.
Mhm.
I stepped in for Lewis today. He is actually my mentor and he got me on the journey that I'm on. But I specialize in helping seniors and veterans. And I look forward to talking more about what I do with you guys. I'm not going to hold you.
Oh no, that we're here. We're here. So
Awesome.
the ultimate goal today is for the audience to get to know who we're talking to. in your background. Jedi, you never served?
No, I have not never served,
No, you
but I
know
am
what?
but I am very certified to work with veterans. I've
So
taken
here's the
plenty of
beautiful,
courses for it.
so here's the beautiful thing. You're serving now. And that's what we're here
Absolutely.
to change that misconception that just because you haven't put the uniform, when you talk about the veterans and you talk about the service members, our families, our community, they're all inclusive. So that's one of the things that we're here to try to dispel and try to figure out. Because the veteran space, we make up 3% of the world. The active duty makes up 7%. So you have 90% of the world who's not served, but they serve. When we deploy, you can't tell me my family don't feel it and the community don't
Absolutely.
feel it. Then when we return, it's the same thing. So thank you again for your service. Thank everybody here for your uniform service. And now, guess what? We're going to dig into the weeds on a couple of different topics. And so, go ahead, Tiffany.
Jeremy, I want to ask, how did Jason and Ted meet? Like, how did this Marine and this Air Force crew come together to join and make the CareSource military veterans come to Atlanta, right?
Okay.
I don't hold anybody other's branch against them.
I don't either.
So it's okay. Jason, if you want to start, you can, but
I'll start, but I got to address
yeah.
that since you went there. I know a lot more Marines with A10 tattoos on their arm for them saving their lives than the other way around. But I was in a ground combat role, security forces commander, when I was in the Air Force. So I kind of lived your life a little bit, just so you know. The way that we met, I actually worked with a division of the company that's helping this rollout, Recurrent Military, is the ones helping CareSource to roll this out. And the founder of the Military Influencer Conference, Cortez Riggs, brought me on to support this based on his knowledge of what I've done with community service teams. And so I met Ted through this work, through this contract. I haven't known Ted long, but we got to spend some time at the Military Influencer Conference to get to know each other. And I got to say, he's an amazing guy. I never saw him eat one crayon. He definitely has the kind of attention to detail and organization skills that I know that he is leading the team that's going to do the right work for this community. So I believe in him and the work he's doing. So I'm happy to start working with him and getting to know him better. So that's my version of the story. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Ted.
I think I appreciate the positive words, and it's great to have Jason on board and what we're trying to do. And we're we're obviously gonna dig into what we're doing, but from day one, I've told the team, we have to be authentic with TRICARE beneficiaries, and we need authentic people on the team to help drive what we're trying to do. Folks are going to be like, oh, it's just another TRICARE demo of some kind, or, be very apprehensive to want to participate. So every photo we use is of a service member or retiree and their family members. It's not a stock image from somewhere. Everything we say, we vet it over and over and over again, because we don't want to come off as salesy, and we need folks like Jason on the team to be boots on the ground and really tell people from the heart like what we're really trying to do, because I understand everybody's being apprehensive to join and participate, but when you've got former service members and retirees and veterans talking to you about it and really educating you on it, the more of that we can get, the better. It's not about billboards and painting water towers and all that kinds of stuff with your brand, because that's not going to reach our folks. Right. That's not what moves the needle with them. They want someone who speaks the language and understands where we all come from. And Jason's one of those folks that can help us do that.
Thank you, Ted.
Right, Tiffany.
Jason seems like the person that needs to come and talk to Bridgett then, because Bridgett is boots on the ground
Yes.
with people who actually need support of what we're saying here, and they may have been told no a couple of times. And if like we know here in Metro Atlanta area, the Southern Atlanta area is where people have been told no repeatedly, and that breaks you down as a veteran. So Bridgett has, I wouldn't say daily activity, but for the last, how long have we known each other, Bridgett? At least 7 years.
I would say so, yes.
And ever since I've known Bridgett, she's been the lead of our Veteranshelpingveterans organization that we belong to. Mr. Herman Anderson is you may know him, Jeremy. Herman Anderson is our mutual dad, if you will, for the Helping Veterans organization, which
Yeah.
goes to the domiciliary there on Fort McPherson. I'm going to stop, but Bridgett is our lead. She's been wonderful, and I believe she needs Jason to come with her. But Bridgett, you tell them.
And Bridgett, tell us a little bit too. I wanted to read in your bio. You have an amazing, oh my God, this is an amazing fact. And I understand why you went and you became the true servant leader that you are today. Tell us a little bit about who you're related to.
Oh,
Mm.
well, that would be my aunt, my grand aunt. She is a member of 6 AAA. And what is interesting about that is the fact that I didn't know that back in late last year, when the movie 6 AAA came out, Tyler Perry his people invited the organization I belong to, National Association of Black Military Women. He invited us to see the Atlanta screening, of it, like the opening, of 6 AAA. And one thing, I'm not big on Tyler Perry, and that's just a personal thing, but I'm not big on Tyler Perry. But the thing is, I was like, Tyler, don't you embarrass us? It's like, this is a big deal. This is not like one of those, it's not one of those movies. This is a 6 AAA, and I already knew about the 6 AAA, so I knew what they represented. And I was like, just as long as, you do this right, I'll be good. I'll be good. So, and we seen the movie, and I was so impressed. I mean, I cried, and just so many emotions watching that movie, so many emotions. I did not know at that time that my grand aunt was a member until the movie came out, because my cousin, who is my family's historian, she found out, and then she let us know, and I'm like, wow, I could not have been more prouder, to know that. But the thing is, one of the things that always gets to me is that the reason why I am the person I am today is because my first enlistment in the United States Navy, I blew it. I mean, I absolutely blew it. Everything that a person can do to mess up their military career, I did it. And I always wonder, I'm like, I made up for it though, my later years, I made up for it. But I always wonder, what would my military career have been like if I would have known that I was a part of that legacy?
Yeah.
Oh.
But you still served 24 years. So it's like,
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. After they basically kind of like kicked me out, but I was able to come back in as reservist, and I really made up for it as far as, all the benefits and just making up for, the things that I just blew the first time around. So that is very important to me to make people aware of the fact that that is a part of my legacy now. And I'm so glad that I served, because I think maybe there are only like about 3 other people in my entire family that served. So, and I'm one of them.
Amen.
Now, so I like doing this because Jada, we're doing a round robin here. The only non-uniformed person, your service comes with a different path. Tell us a little bit about it.
So for individuals that get the benefits that I offer, first of all, you have to be either a 65-year-old veteran, which has A and B of Medicare, and also having veteran benefits. And that could be TRICARE, that could be CHAMP VA, or that can be just regular VA benefits. We offer something to benefit each and every individual, because the way that we do it is we look at the needs of the individual, and every individual is different. You may have a individual that has TRICARE for life that has a grade of 100%, or that individual, he can get dental and vision and other things from the VA, versus an individual that has 30, 40, 70%, they don't get those benefits. So what that does for them is that gives me an option to say, okay, look, I have a plan over here that can benefit you to help you get those dental benefits, vision benefits, and you can continue to go to the VA and get those other things that you've been getting from them. What we do here does not harm your benefits that you get from the VA. They just actually pad to them to help you be able to get everything that you need to be, of best help in this world or whatever. And so we also, do regular seniors. We do individuals that are under 65. I have individuals that are on my book of business that are in their 40s, that are in their 50s, with being disabled. If you've been disabled for 24 consecutive months, you qualify for Medicare Part A and Part B. A lot of things that we run into also with individuals with veteran benefits is they opt into getting Part B. I mean, opt into getting Part A and not getting Part B because they may have 100% or they may just go to the VA for all of their health concerns. So they only have the Part A. We have doctor offices that also work with them and will accept their insurance, so that they can continue to get outside help. Because a lot of them say, well, I do go to the VA, but sometimes I want a second opinion. Well,
Right.
a lot of times that's the whole major problem with a lot of veterans. And so, when we can get them in a plan that fits their needs, we're able to help them get that second opinion, or even maybe like what my dad just went through. He's a veteran. He had a health issue come up out of the blue. And when he's an Army vet, by the way, first sergeant.
Yeah.
Now my baby's a Marine though, so I have a daughter that's a
Oh,
Marine. But and then I have a nephew that's Army right now. They're all active and serving right now. So prayers for
Okay.
them. But my dad, he went through a health scare and was hospitalized for 48 days. Going into the hospital, he kind of got out and we needed to get him some assistance immediately. So I called to the VA, being the daughter that I am, and I'm like, hey, I need an appointment ASAP for my father. Well, guess what I heard at the VA? We can't get him in the next 48 hours. And I'm saying, well, I need to get him seen immediately. So I was actually able to use the extra benefits that he has outside of the military with his Medicare and the other plans, and get him an appointment within 48 hours so that he could get the help that he needed or whatnot. So I mean,
No
those
cost, right?
options are so important to help individuals, because he was actually on his deathbed and we didn't know it at
Yeah.
that time, and
At,
so
at no cost too, right?
right, at no cost,
A
actually,
lot of
because
these
because
plans
they
have
work
no cost for
together.
this
Yeah,
before.
they cater to one another. And that's what a lot of people don't understand with this. They have heard the conception that if I try to use Medicare and other sources, it's going to knock out what I have with the VA. I'm not going to be able to go to the VA anymore. I'm not going to be able to get my medications filled through, Express Scripts or whatever, through the VA or whatever. And that's totally false. Also,
Now that
it's tied to their income. They think that they'll lose, their pensions and stuff that they get. That's not true either. So we
yeah,
kind of
and
educate a lot.
segues, that's gonna segue into where I want to go with CareSource.
Hmm.
Like again, CareSource is coming out. We just had a huge issue in Georgia where Saunders was the major insurance company for all of us, right? And then they pretty much went bankrupt. So we have over 50,000 veterans that was underneath Saunders that are now out here trying to need your help and need to talk to Ted and Jason and so forth. But when we don't know, the first thing you think about is I need to go to Humana or I need to go to TRICARE. But what's CareSource? So the question of the day, starting off was, can you guys tell us a little bit about CareSource? And is the rumor, the rumor is CareSource is replacing TRICARE. No, it's an addition, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can start us off on that piece. So CareSource, like I said in the beginning, is a managed care organization. We're in 14 states. We serve over 2 million lives. And traditionally, we've been in the Medicaid space. I was the program manager that rolled out Georgia Medicaid, for example, back in 2017. We do Medicare Advantage and, those complex populations that are, both eligible for Medicaid and Medicare, because there's a lot of folks in that bucket. And we do Marketplace as well. When I first joined CareSource back in 2015, as a TRICARE beneficiary and having VA benefits, what I quickly saw, because at that point I didn't have a lot of healthcare background. But I wanted to get into healthcare, and what I quickly saw was the impact that CareSource was having on folks in these different programs. And I just thought to myself, man, if we could take just a percentage of what we do and apply it to TRICARE folks, or apply it to veterans in the community, we can make a huge impact. And so over the years, things sort of just, it seemed like it was honestly meant to be, because, one thing would fall into place after another. We started CareSource Military and Veterans as a subsidiary to CareSource to focus specifically on federal contracting, and get into the business of doing what we do, but for the military and veteran community. Right now we're honored to participate in the TRICARE Prime demo is what it's called. So it's the TRICARE Prime demo by CareSource Military and Veterans, supporting access to care and helping military families navigate their coverage options, with confidence. It gives them a choice. So we're not replacing TRICARE. We're introducing competition into TRICARE. And when you introduce competition, you introduce innovation, and it forces the program to get better. So we're taking all these industry best practices in the commercial, healthcare space and applying it to TRICARE Prime beneficiaries to give them a better experience overall. So anybody that is eligible for TRICARE Prime, or TRICARE Select can enroll in the Atlanta greater area and the Tampa greater area during open season that starts on November 10th. So those eligible folks are the families of active duty service members, families of those service members who are in the Guard and Reserve and are now mobilized. Because once you get mobilized, your family becomes eligible for TRICARE Prime. We got retirees and their families, Gold Star families, beneficiaries who are enrolled in the Transitional Compensation Program, and then the Exceptional Family Member Program. So those exceptional family members who are complex care kids, that are not on ECHO, not in the autism demonstration, but are in EFM, they are also eligible as well. The ones who are not eligible, just so everybody's clear, so active duty service members still have to get direct care from TRICARE, so they're not eligible, but their families are. If you're in TRICARE Reserve Select or Retired Reserve, Young Adult, if you have Medicare, you're not eligible for this demonstration. So these are military retirees, but not Medicare aged retirees, or you can also have folks on Medicare who have complex health needs that are eligible for Medicare. So again, in Tampa and Atlanta, what we're doing over the next 3 to 5 years, and I think longer, once everybody enrolls and sees what it brings to the table, the government may extend it. But we're taking what we do from a managed care perspective in these other lines of businesses and other products across the country and applying it to TRICARE. So you're right, we're not replacing it. We're just giving folks in Atlanta and Tampa another option. They actually have a choice, which typically they never do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time, if you're in TRICARE East, it's TRICARE East, and that's Humana. If you're in the West, it's TRICARE West, and that's TriWest. So, So I'm really just honored to be a part of it. I've been working on this for a long time now, and finally seeing it to come to fruition has been amazing. We just had a week-long meeting with the Defense Health Agency this week, where we demonstrated our readiness for this year around our enrollment system, customer service, and our provider network. Our provider network, we overbuilt the network to make sure there's no gaps. If you have a provider you want to continue to see, and for some reason they're not in our network yet, you can continue to see them. So a lot of folks what they're going to experience is a company who's offering TRICARE Prime, but has a lot more flexibility in what they can offer than traditional TRICARE Prime. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. Jason, you got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. I'll actually just bring a little level set, because for the sake of this audience and this recording, people need to understand what this is and why it's existing. Generally speaking, what a lot of people don't understand is that TRICARE is not a team, a group of people. It's a program. It's a system, right? The federal government realized that there's not enough military facilities to take care of all of the families of the active duty service members and the veterans, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We've got to tap into the rest of the world. So they're providing the means to pay the local, the nationwide network of providers to take care of military veterans and families. And within that system, within that program, TRICARE Prime is where the top priority in that community, in our military family communities, get very quick care with the broadest networks, and they don't have to file claims and such like that. There's a lot of benefits to it. You can look that up. Now, for over 30 years, it's been dominated by pretty much one company. And this government organization, Defense Health Agency, DoD, realized that, this is America. We have anti-monopoly laws for a reason, because competition breeds all manner of innovation and better performance. Choice is what Americans are built for, bred for. And they had enough complaints that I don't repeat or share about some of the qualities of care. They wanted to see more innovation. So they're doing a demonstration, a test for this year, for 2026. They want to see whether or not introducing more choice is going to allow that to happen. And they've chosen a nonprofit that puts people over profits to help bring that to some very select test areas. So this first year rollout is very important in showing the government that this is going to do better for a lot of the challenges that a lot of military families have complained about for years. One of the biggest ones is that in most managed healthcare situations, if you are a parent and you know that your child needs to see a specialist, like this is a gut problem, I need to get them to the gut doctor right now, but you got to go through and get a referral to do that.
Right.
Well, through CareSource, there's the means to give you direct access to those specialists in the CareSource network. And, there's a lot of people who, as providers, as those specialists, they were unhappy with the past 30 plus years of dealing with just one company and the way they were getting paid out. They're looking for other places to go. So there's a lot of specialists and stuff that might not have been in the previous network that you had access to in TRICARE Prime. So we're bringing this as a demo, and our role here in this first rollout, the reason why it's so important in these next 6 to 7 weeks is to make sure that enough people come on and experience this so that they can have a fantastic voice to send back to the government and say, we need to keep this in. We need to bring more choice. We need to bring more options. We need to stick with broaden this into other areas to get out of just Atlanta and Tampa. The whole nation needs this. So we need to prove it's a mission to prove that this is giving better care, and CareSource being who they are with their focus on demonstrated care is important. My job.
So is this in addition to community care, or is this a supplement to community care basically?
I can take that one. So TRICARE Prime, obviously is ran by DoD, right? Yeah. And then you've got VA community care, which is managed by VA. So they're completely separate programs. Now you may have folks who are eligible for both, but we're focused on TRICARE Prime eligible families, TRICARE Prime and TRICARE Select eligible families. So in the future, in the very near future, we're planning to partner with VA as well, from maybe from a community care perspective, or maybe special programs and demonstrations in that bucket as well. But right now we're focused on TRICARE Prime, which is military families, military retiree families, and so on. And Jason mentioned a really, really good point. The reason why a lot of people end up choosing TRICARE Select is because they don't want to have to deal with referrals, and they want to go ahead and see whatever provider they want to see, right? Well, under the TRICARE Prime demo by CareSource Military and Veterans, there are no referral requirements. So to Jason's point, I don't have to, the provider and the government aren't gatekeepers for me and my family to go to a specialist. If the specialist is a network, you just go. And that's what traditional healthcare in the marketplace does today and has been doing for many, many years. Also, for those families who pay a monthly premium, like the retiree families and the survivor families, that is waived for the first 12 months they participate in the program. So it puts a little bit more money in their pocket that they get to hold on to, and they don't have to deal with referrals. It's just it's TRICARE Prime. They get the same benefits, but they get care management, care coordination when they need it. They get to keep a little bit more money in their pocket, and there's a lot less hassles to taking advantage of our robust provider network. We're not gonna keep them from going to a network specialist, because that's why we do what we do. And so we've streamlined all of that. DoD has blessed that, and really looking forward to, like to Jason's point, to just getting just a better customer experience And at the end of the day, the demo, it's gonna run for at least 3 years. So this is just year one, starting on 1/1. And their voice is what's going to take what we've done here and affect TRICARE for the long term. And that's really what we're trying to accomplish. But again, if they want to participate and they want to be part of that voice, starting on November 10th up and through December 9th, they have to take action to actually sign up. We're all kind of used, like if you're a TRICARE Prime beneficiary, you're kind of used to not having to go do anything, and as long as you have access, you don't have to go out there and do anything really. Well, this year that you do, so there's a few different ways you can do it, and we can provide that information. We've got a phone number and a link out there that I've shared. And so they do have multiple options to enroll this year, but they do have to take action to make it happen if that's what they want.
And Ted, you made a great point, which is going to segue into what I wanted Jedi to come off mute real quick. So for those personnel that don't qualify, so again, we have our seniors and so forth. We do have a lot of veterans that are not covered, and then we're going to scroll into Bridgett, because this is huge what she's doing in support of all you guys, right? But Jedi, so I'm 65. I turn around, I'm getting $185 taken out of my Social Security, right? And then next year, starting January 1st, is what, $218?
Absolutely.
So talk to me a little bit about that, and then explain to the group and the audience that we have here, because a lot of veterans, we just lost the Uber, transportation and so forth. We just lost those contracts. So where you had the I think it's the gold or the blue team or something like that, you used to be able to get transportation. Uber and Lyft would pick you up and take you to appointments. Well, we don't have that capability anymore. That part of the government is pretty much defunded right now. So tell us a little bit about what you do for, again, those that don't qualify for some of the benefits that Ted and Jason were talking about, and then, how we can get some money back that way.
Awesome. So a lot of seniors, like I said, what you're saying, they go through that where they're saying, well, I didn't get that Part B because it's costing $185. And I definitely let them know there are plenty of plans that are available through different carriers that offer you a rebate of up to $185 back on your Social Security check that will allow you to pay for that Part B premium to help you. Then there are also plans, like you're saying, that does provide not only the dental, the vision, and hearing coverage, but also transportation, free gym memberships. It's a plethora of things that are available for seniors and individuals with military benefits that they can take advantage of. Again, that's why I said what we do is we assess the needs of the individual that we speak to, because some seniors may get everything from VA and they don't need nothing, but when you tell them they're able to put some money back in their pocket, who's not going to take advantage of that? Because we all know with the way economy is being run right now that we need every single penny that we can get to try to stay not ahead but afloat. So those benefits are offered to every single individual that is 65 with VA or without VA benefits, or TRICARE, Champ VA, or whatever with their Medicare. Again, you can, whether when we assess their needs, whether it's you need help with getting the dental and vision part of it or whatever, or you need help with that money part of it, it's available for you guys to make sure that you get everything that you need. And again, like I said, we assess your needs. So, and then sometimes some people are lucky, they're able to capitalize on getting that $185 back. They're able to capitalize on getting transportation. And then majority of each of those plans, they come with humongous allowances for dental benefits and vision benefits, and also hearing aids to help in those areas as well. So again, like I said, we just assess the need of the individual and do whatever it is that we can to help them understand what they qualify for, and help them get what they need at that point, because everybody needs changes. It may be this year you may need that 185, next year you may need more dental. So again, we do so we do that needs assessment, and just so happen we're in that annual enrollment period. It opened up on October 15th. It does run to December 7th. So, I'm available if people needing somebody to talk to get some more information and just get a better understanding of how those things work and how it works with your VA, TRICARE, or CHAMP VA.
Now, here's another thing that most of us qualify for here on this panel. All right, it's Georgia. We got the 4 different seasons in one day, right? So it's cold in the morning and I'm hurting. You got we get chronic pains. So I'm not 65, but I have this chronic pain. Look at Tiff, she already doing it already, just crack a neck over there. But I got this chronic pain going on, or I have PTSD, I got insomnia, whatever makes it. So I got a chronic condition, but I don't meet the 65 age eligibility. Do we qualify for that? Am I covered? Or can I be covered without us being underneath it? And that's a question for Jedi. And then once you answer that, I want to move into Bridgett, because Bridgett is a peer specialist, peer support specialist, right? One of the biggest problems that we have is Georgia is that we have one of the largest states. We're number 7 when it comes to the population, but we're number 5 when it comes to homelessness and it comes to suicides. So when you look at all these different things, hey, if I don't have enough money, if I don't have my insurance, if I don't have my insurance, I can't be taken care of. Physically, you start declining. Then what happens? Right now, from September 1st to the end of February, is basically suicide season in the veteran community. For a lot of our people, listeners, they don't understand that. It's the holidays. And then why would February be bad when it's supposed to be the holiday of love? If a lot of us are divorced, now you're empty nesters and so forth as you get older, and life is changing. And the older we get, maybe again, you're by yourself. And you've seen all these other people in the world celebrating love when you don't have that. And so one of the things that we do have to face is our community. We've been through a lot of damage and a lot of pain. We've all here been in the military for a while. And again, we got plethora of years. And you've seen it with your dad. We've all suffered through something, right? But then to see somebody else to be all happy about it, that doesn't help with our situation sometimes. So if I'm in chronic pain, do I qualify for your program?
There are actually several different plans that are suited toward individuals with chronic conditions. Again, the individual does have to have the A and B of Medicare to qualify for that. So with the Advantage plans, there are plans suited for individuals with chronic conditions that does give a little bit more money and cater toward trying to help with different things that apply toward their chronic conditions. So there are things available, but you do still have to have the A and B.
Gotcha. So now, thank you for that, Miss Bridgett. Woohoo, Miss Bridgett. No, check this out, because this is your space. You know what I'm saying? This is what you do every day, boots on the ground, taking care of us. And tell us a little bit about the DOM and then your role there and how you see everything we talked about here so far. How does that play into your community?
Well, what I do at the Fort McPherson domicile is I am the liaison between Veterans Helping Veterans, the organization, and the Fort McPherson Dome. And what I do is, like, every quarter, we'll have like about $500 that we donate every quarter, and I will take them on outings, and I will talk to them, get to know them, and what their needs are and things of that nature. And we will provide them with just like a social life and with toiletries and things of that nature. But in talking to them, one thing that I have noticed is that, like, all the things that were talked about today, with Jada and Jason and Ted, it's like because of their mental health, they don't understand what they qualify for. And it's like, it has to be like some type of a streamlined, type of service. Because when you're talking about, this one thing and one thing, it's like, and I consider myself pretty intelligent. It's hard for me to keep up with, what was going on, what they were talking about. So it's like when you talk about people with mental health issues or people, alcoholics, homeless, they can't focus on, all of these plans. It's like something needs to be streamlined to where they can understand it, where it's like a simple way, that they can sign up. And that's what I advocate for. It's like I show them like resources that they can go to, but it's like something that they can understand. And that's one of the biggest problems that we are having. And I do have like some veterans, what they don't understand is they don't understand their DD 214. They don't
Yeah.
know what like their discharge means. They don't know what like some of the like if you are rated like a 1 or a 4, you know, it's like, well, that means that they don't want you, or that means that you can't reenlist. They don't understand their DD-14, so they don't understand what they qualify for. And that's a big problem as well, because they're sitting up here and they're applying for so many things, and it takes them a while, you know, to get an answer, and they get that answer, and the answer is no. And so it's like, okay, where do I start again? You know, they have to start again and again. So if the whole system, if it was streamlined to where they understood where they stand, you know, it would be a lot better, because there are some veterans, they don't even know that they can go to the VA, you know, for help. People who are retired, they understand because they know they served long enough that they have those retirement benefits. But there are some people who have only did like maybe one enlistment, did 4 years. A lot of them, they don't even see themselves as veterans, really. You know, they're not taking advantage of a lot of the benefits. So number one, the word needs to get out, and the process needs to be streamlined to where they can understand it.
Yeah, that's beautiful, because that's why I started Helmets to Boots. So the beautiful, and again, having this whole team, I got out the military, nobody was there for me. And so little by little, for 9 years, I struggled. And I was like, instead of being, you know, always blaming the VA and blaming somebody else, I was like, no, we were in the military, you adapt and overcome. And the thing is, you know, we talk about the unspiritual. So we talk about my people perishing for a lack of knowledge. So if I don't understand my DD 214, I don't. The reason I wanted to, me and Tiffany were talking about this earlier this week, was to get this group together, was to be able to get that understanding out. So CareSource,
Yeah.
we're partnering and doing stuff, and we're creating events. The same thing with Jada and their team. We're creating events. Bridgett, you know, Tiffany said it earlier. Jason, you need to go to see Bridgett and tell, you know what, we've already talked about a strategy for trying to get all of Georgia. But yet
Absolutely.
it starts right here with the coalition of the willing and having the information to stand in front of people and say, this is what we bring to the table. So now
If I
I
may,
want to hit Tiffany real quick. Hold on, Jason. I want to
I
hit
was wondering
Tiffany
if I
real
could
quick.
amen on what you were saying. It's just so
Yeah.
relevant to what we're doing here. To help with that,
Mhm.
I'll be brief, is that the purpose that I'm here for is to make sure that we have a team of people specifically from CareSource military and veterans to be out there in the community to make that education happen. We don't want our military families to struggle through this open enrollment for lack of knowledge. So if
Yeah.
you have a group of individual families, you have an organization that they need to understand what's going to happen in this open enrollment, to know how to navigate towards more choice, more options that could help them. We have the ability to come and present to your organization, to talk to your individual members about what that open enrollment season looks like. And not everybody qualifies for this specific offering, and not everyone will have questions that we can answer, right? We only have limited things we can do, but in partnering with people like Bridgett, we can fill in the gaps to talk about specific things that can help educate people. So reach out to me at my email address, and we can get on your schedule to make sure we come and speak to you.
Now,
Sounds like a
thank
plan.
you. I appreciate that, because Tiffany, you had a good question earlier this week, right? So looking at how all of these things happen, you know, we're all part of, me and you are part of American Legion and the VFWs, and we can throw out all the 3-letter agencies we want, right?
Or let
But
us
the cool part about it is a lot of the things when it comes to those organizations is that we go from a bottom up approach. You got to reach out to each commander and go from there, and it's a challenge, man. It is fun, but at the same time, like she was saying with her post, I think it's a beautiful thing. Explain to them a little bit about what you guys did, not even 2-3 weeks ago at 6449.
the health fair, the health
The
fair.
health fair.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because there was more than 30 vendors out there coming out to spend time with the veterans and the community out there. We had the mayor of 2 or 3 cities, council people, people running for mayors, so many politicians. We're going to do the same thing, almost the same thing. It's called our First Responders event, which is October 29th. Jason, I'm going to send you and Bridgett and maybe Miss Montgomery. I don't know if you're here in Atlanta area, but I would love to send you this invitation to come out. And we're gonna have a lot of the city um mayors again, and first responders, fire, police and EMT types. And we're gonna do a big appreciation brunch out in Lawrenceville as well as in Fairburn. I'm gonna send you those invitations. I would love to get you linked up at that level, and as well as we actually have the prior national commander, the prior national VFW commander here in the Atlanta area, who is still very active, Al Liphart, if you don't know. We also have so many major organizations here that we need to get this out, this care source.
Mhm.
We need to get this out because it sounds like something I want to take advantage of. And I'm a 100% disabled veteran, retired Army combat veteran. And I just learned that the VA is cutting down mental health visits for veterans with PTSD even. Um, it used to be like six appointments, and now it's going down to 4 appointments. It needs to be 12 appointments.
Right.
And so I don't know what care source, how that works with your mental health side, but these veterans, us veterans and our family members, we deserve a lot more mental health. They know we need it. And for them to go down instead of up, that's amazing to me.
Yeah.
Because you have, until mental health becomes mental illness, there's a fine line, very fine line. And from young people to older people, Vietnam veterans, Korean War veterans, Desert Storm veterans, we all need to talk to somebody that speaks our language, and we can feel free to spend that time with them. And that's not happening with the VA anymore. They're going the opposite direction. So if you're bringing some competition to TRICARE, because community care is so awful here in Atlanta anyways, it's hard. It's hard. I won't say it's so awful. It's hard. Like right now, I'm waiting on a community care appointment. It's been 3 weeks. When you going to call me for my appointment? Oh, government shutdown.
Government shutdown.
Right.
That's not the
Right.
answer. That's not the right answer. Like Jada's dad, I need service in 48 hours. This is important. So for Care Source to come in and disrupt our little TRICARE ring that we have here, that would be great. I'm invited. I'm
Yeah,
invited.
Go ahead, Ted.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, we obviously provide behavioral health services. Folks don't need a prior authorization or referral or anything like that. And like you guys said at the very beginning, this does not take away from your VA benefits at all. It's completely supplemental to that. So if you're not quite getting what you need when you need it from VA, and if you're in the TRICARE Prime demo by CareSource Military and Veterans, you would have access to our behavioral health network, which is going to be robust in the Atlanta area. And so I see it as, for folks who are eligible for both, it's a great thing because you can get the best of both worlds. But at the end of the day, you're going to get what you need when and where and how you need it. If you can't get it through VA for whatever the case may be, you'll have your access to our network. And by the way, there's a lot of folks that I know now that are, they're at the VA and they are, trying to really right the ship there, right, and get it to where it needs to be. But sometimes it takes time. But at the end of the day, TRICARE Prime demo in Atlanta, if you're eligible and you have those needs, you're gonna get that care. And it's going to be within, from a drive time perspective, it's going to be close to home. We're going to get you a timely appointment, and and especially if you have complex needs, you'll get care management and even care coordination if you need it. So you'll have a care manager assigned to you, and they will help you get your appointment. And help you with preventative care and things like that. So today you're probably not getting those type of calls or support at all. But with CareSource, you would. So you would have somebody assigned to you. You'd have a customer care representative assigned to you. So every time you call, you get the same person. And so we're really trying to take a white glove approach to it, right? And just make sure you get exactly what you need, and just a better experience.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jeremy,
And
you did
Tiffany,
put this panel together. You did good, Jeremy.
yeah, and we got 5 minutes left because I want to piggyback on this too, since we're talking about the mental health piece. So with what Bridgett does, when I first got out, I went through a peer support specialist, and come to find out that was one of the best things I've ever done. But I didn't know what it was. You got Highland Rivers, we have the vet centers and so forth. But unfortunately, again, you guys are short staffed, and again, it is what it is. So with going to the vet centers, we've only got so many, and they're picking up the slack because of the government shutdown. And you may have only 6 caseworkers that may have 100 people per caseload. That's why I was like, across the board, we suffer and we perish for a lack of knowledge. You guys have all the resources together right here with us, knowing you and knowing what your capabilities are, broadcasting it out to our audience. So you know what? I hate to say it, but this time of the year is the worst time for us as veterans because our suicide rate goes up because everybody gets to that point. I believe in being proactive than reactive. If you're always working on being proactive, you don't have to worry about recovery. Well, sometimes recovering, when you get to this point and you're by yourself and that's the last thing you can think of, that's where a lot of us lose our lives or we take our lives. So as long as you got the resources, like everybody here on this panel, I just think it's amazing. So we got 3 minutes before we wrap up. If everybody could just throw out one thing, one thing that you want this audience to take away. Yeah, in a short amount of time, because we really have 3 minutes. What would you want for our listeners to know? Bridgett?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I spoke briefly about my father and what happened and him having that medical emergency. But what I would say is this: he was going to the VA and has gone to the VA for the last 20 plus years, all the time, and he gets all blood work and all tests and stuff done. But something was missed that should have been caught a long time ago. So to think that you have everything that you need from the VA and second opinions don't matter, it does. And like everybody is saying with the mental health, if you don't have those appointments there, if you do have the Advantage plans, they do come with it. They come with extra visits. They come with where you can go ahead and call and get that taken care of over the phone, where they can do a virtual visit with you. You never even have to leave your house to talk to anybody. So
Yeah.
those resources are
Yeah.
available for you.
Right.
I gotta cut you short. We got one more
Yep.
minute.
Go ahead.
Anybody else?
I say to everybody, especially in Atlanta and Tampa, tell all of your military families, never lose alone. You got a big fight coming at you, an open enrollment to make the right choices and new options available. Be part of the solution. Bring the CareSource Navigator team to your organization to bring education. Reach out to me at this email address, jason.smith@teamrecurrent.io, so we can get in there to educate your people and bring them choice and education.
Thank you, both of y'all.
Thank you, Jason. Bridgett?
What I would like to say is that a lot of times people don't understand what's going on with them. They're like, well, why can't I, stay in a healthy relationship? Why can't I keep a job? Why am I always feeling, isolating myself? And it's because of mental health. We think that we are living like just life. We're actually like spectators of our life, but we should really be out there on the field making plays and not being a spectator. And there is this thing, it's called the ACE study. ACE is for adverse childhood experience. It's like about 10 questions. And if you answer yes to like maybe 2 or 3 of those questions, it means that there is something that needs to be checked with your mental health. There is something that needs to be resolved, some childhood trauma or things of that nature. So just always know that if you're experiencing something, it just may be your mental health. And it doesn't mean there's no longer that stigma, where it's like a voodoo or a bad thing. It's like it's out there in the open now, and we want to live our best lives. So let's just always be aware of that.
Thanks, Bridgett. And can you put that in the chat? And then Ted, we got one more minute. Go ahead and take us home.
I really appreciate it. So folks, CareSource Military and Veterans, we are a company that is ran and led by service members, retirees, veterans, spouses, caregivers, family members of service members and veterans. We're here to serve the military and veteran community because we are the military and veteran community. So we're bringing something different to the table. And like Jason said, if you want to participate and be part of the solution, rather than just sitting back and being the receiving end of the problem, then this November, take action, give us a call, go online, get with Jason, get with me, and we can walk you through what your options are. And if you would honor us with signing up with us, we'll take amazing care of you for the next 3+ years. So Thanks, team.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you. And Miss Tiffany, you know what? That is our time. I want you to go ahead and end it off with, again, thank you everybody for being here today. You have been this has been a wealth of knowledge. The reason we talked about this a little bit earlier this week was to make sure it was a smooth flow from beginning to end till, hey, I don't know this. Now I kind of know it's out there. I can make a valuable decision. I have multiple people I can talk to at different age groups, because a lot of people are telling us, no, this is for the younger generation. This is for the active duty. Well, I'm 65 and above and so forth. And me and Tiff were sitting here like, hey, we're veterans too. We're trying to figure out, where do we fall at with this? And then she was talking about the diamond. I'm a service officer, so I deal with a lot of veterans that go through Fort McPherson and so forth. But again, thank you guys so much, because this is amazing. And then Tiff, guess what? I need you to tell us a little bit about you. See, it done got so good, I forgot about my co-host right here.
No, Jeremy, we said we didn't understand any of this when we talked earlier this week. We talked a couple times about this. I didn't get it. I didn't understand what Care Source was. I didn't understand, why do I need a Part B? This panel, and you know how much I love Bridgett and our mission over here with Veterans Helping Veterans. So I'm so happy she was on here to hear what Jason, Ted, and Jada, even, like, from so many great different perspectives here. Bridgett, don't we feel smarter now?
Yes, definitely.
I do, and I feel like I have more tools now to go out into the community and answer questions and lead people to the right direction now. So good job, Jeremy.
Thank you. And so I want to thank our sponsor, again, Ms. Penny Rogers, for putting us together and giving us this show. This is her vision. What you guys have done today is what Helmets to Boots is about. You're covering down on everything we don't know in our space. I cover down on the benefits. We got estate planning of people that do estate planning, the home loans, not just the VA home loans, mental health and so forth. And then you guys bring on a medical piece, because that covers us from head to toe. That's the name, Helmets to Boots. So again, I want to thank you everybody for showing up today. And again, I'm Mr. Nobody with my amazing co-host, Miss Tiffany Morman. I want to give all you guys a round of applause and tell you thank you and bless you all. All right. And that is our time.
Air
Thank
power.
you.